Hey there, I'm Taylor Bento, the owner and creator of Bags by Bento, and today I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary for when I started my crochet business. So today I'll be sharing my top 10 takeaways, the successes, the failures, and all the in between. So grab your coffee or tea and let's chat. There is so much that I could share about small business, crochet business life, but I am going to keep it to just my top 10 takeaways from the year. I'll share 5 successes and my top 5 failures in the hopes that you will learn something. Maybe you're trying to start a small business or you already have one and you're looking for tips. I really hope that by sharing that this gives you a little bit more clarity. Okay, successes. My first success was figuring out what my voice and style were. I just decided that if I didn't dive in, take a chance and go for it, that I would be in that incubation stage forever, constantly thinking of new ideas, wondering if this is the right one. I mean, you could do that for a lifetime. So finally, I just decided, okay, I love to crochet. I'm good at crocheting bags. I'm gonna go for it. It could have been anything, honestly. I think at one point it was gonna be baskets by Bento. So, I knew that I could figure things out as I went, and that's exactly what happened. As I experimented and tried new things, I figured out what my style was and how I could be authentic and also build a brand that was consistent and that people could relate to. So that's my first success. I think it can take some time to get to that point, so don't be too hard on yourself. It was several months before I really got into the groove of what my style and voice were. Success number 2 was figuring out who my target audience was. I got so many recommendations or advice from people to figure out who my target customer was and to create this whole profile for them, all down to their age and their location and all these things. And honestly, what helped me the most was letting some of that go and to start just putting content out there and see who gravitates towards my style, my voice, my product. And I learned really quickly that it wasn't what I expected. I honestly thought that my target audience was someone who was really into sustainable fashion, who was very trendy. And the more that I put my content out there, the more I realized that crocheters were really gravitating towards what I do. And they were asking me for patterns for my designs and admiring my work. And that changed a lot for me. So be a little bit flexible about who your target audience is in the early days, because a lot of that will work itself out as you go. Number 3 was finding the social media platform that worked best for my business. Now, I'm on multiple platforms now, but when I first started, it was super overwhelming trying to figure out how I would do all these different social media platforms at the same time. And so I decided to focus on just one. And at first I was focusing mainly on Instagram, and I wasn't seeing a lot of results or a lot of growth. And I started to get really disappointed and discouraged about it. And then I decided to try out Pinterest and see what happened. And I had so much success, so much quicker, because I found my people. So if you think about, okay, what kind of business am I going for? Am I really shooting for people who are looking for finished products? Am I in more of the pattern space or tutorial space? And figuring out what social media platform might be best for you. Also thinking about your skills. Are you more familiar with some of these platforms than others? If you've never been on TikTok and you choose that as your main social media platform, that might be a little bit harder to get into the swing of things and figure out how it works. So keep all those things in mind as you're figuring it out. And Pinterest was definitely my go-to for several months, and then I started to branch out into the other social media platforms as well. So my advice, choose the one that works best for you and focus on that one for a while and see how it goes. Number 4 was growing a community. I think at first with social media, I approached it as a platform for selling, which it is, but more importantly, it is a place for meeting people and networking. And so I started to treat social media as more of a networking event than a market I'm selling at. And I started to make friends, connect with people, and just show up in a more authentic way that wasn't like, hey, look at me, look how cool I am, what I can make. It was more, hey, we make similar things, let's be friends, let's support each other. And that vibe really shifted the way that I connect with people on social media in general. And I've seen such a huge growth in my community since then of real people that I care about a lot. So I recommend approaching social media as an opportunity to build real connections with real people and not just a place to be advertising. Hey, look what I can do. Look how cool I am. Look what I can make. And you might see better progress and growth from that. The last success in my top 5 was going viral. I went viral on Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram this year, which was huge. It was so exciting. I learned a ton from the process. So I'll share some nuggets of what I learned out of it so that if you go viral in the future, you can make the most of it. The first thing I learned was to really lean into the content, share more similar content, and also share it on other platforms. So my first viral pin, I shared it on Instagram and TikTok as well, and it did really well. So whenever I had a mega viral TikTok, I decided to share it also on all my other platforms. And soon after, it went viral on Instagram. And I had several viral videos after that because I continued to share similar content. And I learned so much about what relevant information people are looking for in my industry, what people are finding valuable, and especially from my tutorials, the ones that have gone viral, I've watched over and over again to figure out from the consumer's perspective what it was that they were really drawn to and try to make more content like that. So the biggest thing is that if you get the opportunity to have tons of eyes on your page at one time, make the most of it, connect with new people, share similar content, and put it out there and take a chance. All right, now I guess it's time to talk about my top 5 failures from the year. Not as fun to talk about, but I'm gonna do it for the greater good. My biggest failure of the year was in the beginning, I crocheted so much that my hands were aching all of the time, and my body took a while to recover from that. So I don't recommend as a crochet business owner that you hit it so hard that you're crocheting 24/7, not sleeping well, your hands are hurting all the time. That's not sustainable, and it's not going to be something that you enjoy in the long run either. Eventually you will burn out. So I highly recommend that you take it easy, find a schedule that works for you, and try to have good boundaries with yourself. The next failure was that I tried to do everything. I didn't choose a niche fast enough, and I was just, oh, look at this cool blanket I made. Oh, I made this thing. I did this. And it just was a little all over the place. People couldn't really tell what my specialty was or who I was. And I was taking all kinds of custom orders for random things, which, can be good from time to time because you learn a lot from it and you can get some fresh inspiration. But if that's all you're doing, you're never gonna get the opportunity to really focus on what's gonna grow your business. And that's what happened to me. I felt like I was spinning my wheels for a while, just taking random things, random custom orders, making random stuff. And it felt like my business wasn't really going anywhere. And when I really started to focus on my specialty are bags and accessories, and that's what I do, and this is my style, that's when I really started to see a steady incline for my business and to really see some more growth. The next thing was pricing my items too low. I think a lot of crochet business owners make this mistake. They want it to be accessible to people, they don't value their time enough, and they price their items so low that they aren't making a good enough profit. And there's no way that you can continue to grow your business if you aren't making any money off of your sales. So when I started to incrementally increase my prices over time, I didn't just jump from one end to the other, I just slowly increased them. And I actually found a pricing worksheet that works really well for me, that calculates time, material cost, overhead, and profit. And now I have a much more clear way of pricing my items that makes sense and not so arbitrary. Because I think sometimes crochet business owners get a little lost in the weeds and don't know exactly how to price their items. So there are a lot of resources out there. I'll share some of my favorite resources for pricing your crochet items in the description below, so be sure to check that out. My next big mistake was not building my own website sooner. I started out on Etsy, which a lot of people do. That's great. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's a great way to dip your toe in and see how things go. But I relied on that a little too heavily for a longer amount of time than I should have. If you have the opportunity to build a website, even if it's super simple, it will help your business grow so much more than relying on a platform like Etsy. I finally got my website out there early this year, and I've seen my email list grow exponentially. I have a lot more eyes on my products and patterns than I ever have, and I've been able to share a lot more free content as well in the process, which I think people are drawn to in general. So I highly recommend getting a website, even if it's a super simple one, versus relying solely on another platform that you don't own like Etsy. Last but not least, I spent way too much time focusing on activities that don't make any money. I think, we can fall into this trap really easily, where we're spending hours on an Instagram reel, or designing graphics in Canva, or choosing music for a TikTok, or trying to resize photos for our website. I mean, the list goes on. There are so many things that can be a complete time stealer. So you have to watch out for yourself and watch out for your time. I started setting time limits for myself on certain things, like reels. I don't spend more than 30 minutes on one reel, and 30 minutes is like the max. Lately, it's been a lot less than that, because that's something that, you're promoting your business, sure, but it could flop. You have no control over that, and it's not directly making you money. So you really want to focus on the things that are going to grow your business, that are going to make money for your business, and not get stuck in this rut of feeling pressure to do all these activities that aren't necessary, that aren't crucial to running your business. So that was my year. It feels so incredible to make it to this milestone of 1 year in business. I am looking forward to what's going to happen in the next year, and to see how my business develops and grows and changes. I started out thinking that finished products were my thing and I wouldn't do anything else. And I have learned that I'm a crochet designer. I love designing patterns, and I also like putting together kits and all kinds of other things, and doing tutorials. And it's just all starting to fall into place and make sense. So I think that, if you're out there and you are trying to get a crochet business going, you're feeling discouraged, give it some time to really figure out what it is that you do and what you specialize in and what makes you happy. The other thing I think a lot of us can get trapped in is doing things that we think will make money, but don't make us feel happy or fulfilled, that drain us. When I was making so many bags that my hands hurt, I thought, this is what I'm supposed to do. This just means I'm busy, I'm successful. But I was accepting a lot of custom orders that didn't make sense for me, that I was spending way too much time on. So I learned a lot from that process. Now I take custom orders for things that I feel super confident in, that I'm not gonna spend way too much time on creating and putting together. And that has made a huge difference. So I really hope that you feel encouraged, that you got some ideas from all of my successes and failures this year. I'd love to chat with you. If you have questions, you can comment below or you can email me at bagsbybento@gmail.com. Feel free to check out my socials. I am on Pinterest and Instagram and TikTok. So thanks guys, I always enjoy these chats with you, and stay tuned for a free tutorial coming next Monday.